Ciao a tutti, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Rehearsals have started. Well, rehearsals started a couple of days ago. Second rehearsals are started, and those are the ones I get to watch. I have press accreditation online this year, and so that means I'm able to watch all the run-throughs of the second rehearsals and get to see what the camera angles are going to look like, get to hear the vocals, get to see a little glimpse of what we're going to get on stage, and there's a lot to talk about. There is a lot to talk about. I think semi-final 1 has really not benefited from us seeing the staging, but yeah, everything has been flipped on its head with what we have seen today. I have a ranking actually of my top 14 from today. It's interesting. It's a choice, but we're going to go through the countries in the order that we saw them, or in the order that we should have seen them, really. I'll go through my very, very packed notebook and see, yeah, who's sending what to expect from each of the countries. So we're going to start with Albania, and I will put the YouTube clip here. Now, these YouTube clips, let's just say, do not tell you a lot. Like, they really do not show a lot. So I'll put them up there, but take them with a grain of salt. There's a lot more to see on the staging than on these YouTube clips. So Albania, first of all, we saw nothing originally. There was a whole glitch with the live stream. We ended up seeing Albania last, so it's very fresh in my mind. Think blue-pink. It's blue-pink, half and half staging. Very much one side is pink, one side is blue, lights-wise. And Ronela is dancing. She is being herself. She is dancing. She's dancing with the male dancer. She's dancing with a female dancer. There are a lot of intimate moves. But it's a great performance. It could do with some sharpening up with camera angles. Very much so, and I know that's something that they are actually working on. Ronela has confirmed they are working on that. But the LED floor does work. In the clips you saw on YouTube, it just didn't seem to be on, but I can confirm that the LED floor exists. It just needs, I think there just needs to be more saturation in the colour of the cameras in general, and I mean, we don't get the highest of quality, but I'm hoping that whenever we do see it, it will be in good quality and we'll get proper saturation. It's giving flashbacks to 2019 with the lack of saturation, really. And yeah, not what we're used to after last year. But Albania, I would say, is going to qualify. I don't think she's not going to qualify. I mean, she's opening Eurovision with a bang, and it is great. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting, the red-black colours, but that's not what Ronela wanted. It is blue-pink, and it is very good. I am happy with it. Like, watching it, it made me feel, yeah, this is Ronela's song, and she knows what she's doing. Hey, Latvia, eat your salad. There's fruit and vegetables in the LEDs. There's a lot of colour. Like, there is a lot of colour. They're all wearing different coloured suits. All of the LEDs are colourful. The lights are colourful. There's a lot of close-ups of singers as they're singing. It'll zoom in on who are singing. The saxophone solo is basically, I mean, you should have seen the saxophone solo. It's probably playing up there right now. He is standing there, and you can barely see him. Like, the lights are so bright behind him. He blends in to the background as he's doing the saxophone solo. It's good. I can't remember any of the guys' names, but the guy who does the rapping part talks a bit over the saxophone solo. It's a bit weird, but not bad. The vocals are good. The vocals are good, but it's Latvia. They've always been good. We've always heard these good vocals, so it's not a surprise at all. The LEDs in the final chorus, wow, it's like you only have to pick a colour, and you've got like that entire colour range. It's like a rectangle with all the colours kind of in it, and you move around. Your like cursor to find. I'm not explaining it well, but that's what it looks like. It's like that colour palette-esque idea. It's beautiful. It's really nice. Borderline qualifier. I think on a good day, they could qualify, but currently they're sitting in my number 9th place from today, and we haven't heard all the songs. There's still 4 more to go, so, or is it 4 or 3? I cannot remember. But yeah, they're sitting borderline qualifier. They may make it, they may not. We'll see how it impacts. I think it's more likely that they don't qualify. Next up, we have Lithuania. We have Sentimenti now. This is very interesting because the YouTube clip looks great. It does look great, and a lot of the performance does look great. However, a lot of the performance is heavily impacted by the black void of a sun, the solar eclipse, if you will. Basically, the stage is sparkly. It's glittery. They're using the sun for these sparkly lights, kind of astigmatism-esque. They're all, blurry, limey lights, and they look great. There are some parts in where the stage, everything goes blue. Basically, everything just goes this dark blue color, and Monica is going round Monica, and it's great. It looks perfect until you get to just the black sun in the background. You're like, you spoiled it. Why is it all blue and then suddenly just a black semicircle? It doesn't make sense. But there's nothing else I can do about that. So, yeah. But incredible vocals. Incredible vocals. The whole thing is very dark, and it would be nicer to have a bit more light coming from behind her, but that's not really. I mean, it is possible, but we'll see what goes on. It just was quite dark, but I really enjoyed the performance. And I would say after today, Lithuania is probably going to qualify. At what place they put her in 5th, so yeah, that is quite good. That's very good for Lithuania. I think she will probably qualify. Next up, we have Switzerland. Boys do cry. Well, I was not crying at this performance. Voila from Wish, when you order voila and it comes 95 days later broken. That was maybe a bit harsh, but it's sparkly. It's very, very dark staging. It's almost completely black except for a white spotlight, and other effects done by kind of white spotlights and things like that. There's broken heart in the LED. I'm 14. This is so sad. There are some like cloud light effects done kind of by projections of lights, where you see clouds going up, and there's raindrops and tears potentially on the LEDs kind of going down. It's not giving much though. It's a bit underwhelming. The song isn't the best, and I don't think it's going to qualify. Yeah, his vocals are okay. They're not the best, but it could have been better. Could have been staged better, and I had more hopes after Switzerland last year. But yeah, it's not the best. Okay, Slovenia. It's good. It's good. I'm trying to. Where did I put it? Yeah, I put Slovenia 7th in my ranking for today. That's halfway. They have a giant disco ball we've all seen from the photos, and basically there's the disco ball and there's gold lights onto the disco ball. There are also, I mean, a lot of lights shining onto the disco ball which then reflect off the disco ball, which look very good. Camera going round the disco ball as like the members of the band are standing at points around it. It's some beautiful shots of the arena as well as it zooms out and zooms in. Their stage presence has increased. There's some simple moves that they're doing just to kind of keep that engagement, but vocals are great. I mean, Slovenia, we know their vocals have always been great. Big well done to LPS because it is very good. I'm very, very proud of LPS for what they've done. And I would, it's hard to say. I don't want to say borderline, but we'll have to wait until tomorrow to see if they're borderline or not, because they could be. But they're pretty good. They are pretty good. I would say if they qualify, they'll be 10th in the semi. 9th in the semi potentially, but they're going to be low qualifiers. Okay, Ukraine. Even just thinking back to that, I have goosebumps already. Like, genuinely thinking about that performance. Wow, we got to see it 3 times, and it was. There are no words to describe how good it was. I had goosebumps from the beginning. The opening shot is they're all standing in a line with the sun, right? And obviously there's been a lot of problems with the sun. They've taken the sun and made it into a sun. Like, the sun looks like the middle part is orange, and then the lights from the sun make it look like sunbeams. They've done it so well, and the camera rises up over the water and zooms in on them. It's impeccable. What else? There's like choreo, there's like that kind of Ukrainian dancing. There's, as what we've seen from Ukraine before, but perfectly done, like so tasteful. There are massive eyes on the LED at each side, which then cry tears, but they're golden tears. These golden tears come down and combine in a Jamala tree moment, as they're all standing on these 3 streams of tears. It's beautiful. What else happens? There's yellow waterfalls at one point. There's so much. They're dancing on hands. There's like hands held out like this, and they're dancing on the hands. they do this thing where la 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 la, and the first time is shadows, and then the second time is this kind of ornate pattern, and the ornate pattern looks beautiful. Like, it is stunning, and the shadow works so well. It's such a haunting moment. And then the lights as well, the lights in the arena, there are yellow. Let me get this right. Yellow lights at the top and blue lights at the bottom, which is the Ukrainian flag upside down. And upside down flags are commonly used when a country's in distress. So tastefully done. Like, it is incredible. I'm in awe. It was so good. Absolute qualifier. I've ranked them first. It was the most impactful performance today by far. By far. So next up we have Bulgaria. Now, not gripping. They start with split screens, and for example, this screen is, visible, and then that screen's just black. It's like a split screen, but they forgot to put the other split part on. It looks weird, and it looks awkward, and it doesn't look great. Like, it doesn't. Half of the song is all in black and white. Well, it's not in black and white, but the lights are just black and white, so you don't really see much color in general until then it goes like red and blue pulsing. It's interesting. And they've got that, thing at the back that pulses colors. They go up through the sun. All that makes it sound a lot more exciting than it is, but you can see what you can see there. That pretty much accurately sums up the whole thing. It's not incredible, and I don't think it'll qualify. I've ranked it 12th today, so yeah, it's unlikely to qualify. The Netherlands, on the other hand, don't let the YouTube clip fool you, because it was very good. It was beautiful. It was so intimate. It was so close. It was so dark and moody, and by the time it gets to where it is there, it's progressed past this dark moodiness, and there's that. It looks like the sun setting in the sun, kind of idea. Some of the shots need a bit of work. There's just a couple of shots that need changed a little bit, but overall the performance was so good. It was beautiful. Like, I absolutely loved watching Steen. Her vocals are great. Not perfect, but great. Very good. All the focus is on Steen, and it's very similar to Switzerland's song, staging wise, but done better. And I think she will overshadow Switzerland completely. Yeah. There's not much more to say, but there's a great part where she says, Ik schreeuw onder de tafel en ik hoop dat jij me vindt. And basically Steen just goes into complete shadow, and you see the background, which works with the I hide under the table, or I cower under the table and hope that someone finds me. It works so well, and the lights come back on, you see her again. It's so tastefully done. It was so exciting to watch, and I love it. I really, really do enjoy it. So next up we have Moldova. Netherlands is the qualifier, by the way. Moldova. The locals will love this, but it was chaotic. There was color everywhere. But weirdly, like, it was like a black background with colors on it, but it didn't look colorful at the same time. It looked very much Moldovan stage. Like, it didn't look like it had progressed from Moldova to Eurovision, but then the stage didn't, like, the stage looked like it was a Moldovan stage. It was weird. They make use of these side LED panels that kind of like come up like this, but they're only there at the very end, and like as they finish the song, they're like, that was weird. That was very weird. But it was interesting. But there's not much more to say about Moldova, except the revamp has kind of destroyed it. I used to love the song. It's a borderline qualifier at best, but after tomorrow, I think it'll drop out of the qualification zone. They're out of the danger zone, or no, they're going deeper into the danger zone, I should say. Then we had Portugal. Now, we actually didn't get to see Portugal at this point, but I'll talk about it now. Because yeah, there were issues regarding COVID, and one of the backing singers has got COVID, so they've kind of restructured it a little bit. But purples, blues, oranges, some deep, beautiful colors, intimate shots, perfect vocals, stunning harmonies, Like, you could almost forget that the sun exists in this song because it's so well staged. They're on the wee small stage at the start or at the front. Um, it just looks beautiful, and Portugal are a definite qualifier now. There's no doubt about that. Definite qualifier. It was beautiful. Portugal know how to stage a song. They did it so well last year, and this year they've done it again, and it's beautiful. And despite them having one less backup singer, beautiful. They basically they're standing in a circle, and they just changed the circle ever so slightly, so that the backing singer isn't noticed to be gone. And at one of the rehearsals we saw stand in, but I think they decided just they can use that if they would need. They can use that arrangement if they need, and if they want to use the smaller circle, then they can easily, and it worked well. It worked really well, and Maro's vocals are insane. They're beautiful. The whole thing was lovely. I was just sitting there enjoying it. It was great. Okay, final four for today. Croatia, guilty pleasure. Well, poor Mia had audio issues for all three of her run throughs. It was right, so her first time her ear didn't work and the song was in a different key in the other ear, which isn't helpful when you're singing. And then her backing vocals were way far ahead or way far behind. I can't really remember. Meanwhile, she's singing in Croatian. The backing vocals were in English, which she then was like, "Why on earth are these vocals like this?" And then the third run through, the vocals were in Croatian, but they were again ahead or behind. It was just a bit of a mess in general at rehearsal. But the sun's not noticeable, too noticeable. It's not very impactful though. Like, the whole staging is blue, and I haven't actually seen the YouTube clip yet of this, but the whole stage is blue. Spinning shots, like spinning around her and her dancers. Dancers are kind of mirroring each other in their own moves, and she's kind of in the middle of this mirror. It's interesting, but it's not impactful enough to be impactful in any way. It's just a bit meh. There is Croatian in the final verse and chorus, which elevates it by the slightest amount, but not too much. A non-qualifier, to be pretty frank, it's not going to qualify. Denmark, the show, national final performance. It's not much different. They start at the piano through the reflection of the piano for pretty much the first part, and then it's going to zoom out, a lot of strobe effects, and then we have the background, which is just like green, red, blue, yellow, green, red, and so on and so forth. The ground says Reddi on it, and the LEDs in the ground do the same as the LEDs in the wall, and the colours of the lights. I mean, like, it's pretty much identical to the national final performance, except on a different stage. And the sun oddly makes this look better, because while there is a black void behind them, it makes the fact that they're just using block colours look slightly better. It's really bad to say, but it actually improves the blandness having that sun there. It's not incredible, and I don't think it'll qualify. There may be some local appeal, but I don't think it's going to qualify too much. If it does, it'll be like 10th, but I don't think so. Then we move on to Austria. Now, Austria's a really tough one. The circle of lights works really well. It detracts from the circle. You barely notice the circle is there. Visually, it's very good. Basically, Piers and Lumix are in the circle, and the lights are going round the circle, and it's black and white, and then it's red and blue, red and white, and they're spinning round, and the lights are all spinning around. It looks quite good. However, Pia's vocals, they're better. They need to improve a lot if they're going to qualify. The backing vocals were turned up so much. They're using live backing vocals, and they were almost louder than Pia, which isn't great. And they also don't sync with Pia's vocals very well. They don't blend well. Something feels missing. Though there is pyro in this, but you barely notice it with everything else that's going on. Actually, the lights are really good. Like, it looks great. It just doesn't sound incredible, and it's weird because it's like, "Let me be your halo," sung by Pia and backing singers, and then you've got the halo in the auto tune from the studio version. There's a weird blend of sounds, and it doesn't work fully. And also, Lumix, please stop shouting the entire way through the performance, because I don't want to hear "put your hands up" like 87,000 times potentially. Austria are borderline. If Pia's vocals improve drastically, and they get all the sound sorted, then they'll qualify. I think it's more likely than not they'll qualify, but I put them 8th right now. So we'll see how they go. And then Greece. Greece is an absolute qualifier. Amanda's vocals are great. Like the shots, it's things like, you know, it's right up in her face, and then she goes like this, and the camera goes like that. Like it just worked. I mean, pretend I was the camera. Yeah. It works so well. All these like melting chairs that she's walking through, and then you go to an overhead shot, and the chairs look like they just melt into the LED and go up the walls. Like, it's great. The staging is so simple. It's completely blue for the entire thing, but it works so well. There's some great white light shots and spotlights, and just like the sun going like, it's very good, very, very good from Greece. I couldn't have staged it any other way. I mean, there's so many other ways you could have done it, but I think they've done something very interesting. Like, it keeps you into it. You're like, what on earth's going on? But also, this is really good. And Amanda's vocals are so good, it's hard not to love it. A definite qualifier. Cool will come first or second in the semi, probably. I am very impressed with Greece. And that brings us to the end of today. That brings us to the end of... It's been a really long day, actually. I did not realise how long it was going to take. I don't know how many more of these videos I'll be doing. I'll definitely I'll do one on Saturday evening for sure. We'll see what happens for exams. But yeah, interesting scenes with rehearsals have been happening, and I'm very excited to see the actual semis and watch them and see how things pan out. But I hope certain performances get better, and I cannot wait to see who qualifies. I mean, let me know who your favourites were from today in the comments down below, and don't forget to, of course, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below, do all that great stuff, and thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.